Are you in the right risk financing program for your company? Well, Paul Kraemer is here to talk about that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The BluePrint. I'm your host, Eric Messer, and with me today, we've got a great special guest, Paul Kraemer. Paul, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.
Now, you've been with the Starr Group quite a while.
That is correct. Actually, I had my 30th anniversary last year during COVID.
Oh, that's great. So you didn't even get to party.
Not at all. Not at all. I think I was the only one in the office.
Paul's here today to talk to us about captives. So we've got traditional risk financing programs, and then we have alternative risk financing programs. And Paul, you seem to be the one in the office that is kind of the go-to expert when it comes to captives, with maybe the exception of Tim Starr. So one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is, what is the difference between a captive and a traditional risk financing program?
Sure. So traditional risk financing, that's the standard market as we refer to it, where your liability, your work comp, your auto, your umbrella, what have you, is oftentimes insured with one carrier, and you're subject to the whims of the marketplace at that time. And you're grouped in with all the other businesses, some good, most of them average, and a good portion of them are subpar. So your pricing is actually reflected in that mix of risk. And if you're a carrier that, if you're a contractor that is doing everything right and putting your best efforts forward from a safety and risk management standpoint, well, then why not get rewarded for your efforts? And the way to do that is actually to participate in a captive program. In a captive program, your rating is defined by your own experience. They use an actuary that does a 5-year look back at just your company's claims.
Yep.
And so if you continue to improve, you actually drive your rates down over time. It's very impressive. We have clients that are performing extremely well in this capacity. And again, you can outperform the market the vast majority of the times.
So looking at that traditional risk financing, where you have the good companies, the average companies, and the bad companies, any idea or at least an educated guess on what percentage of that group is good companies and what percentage is rather poor companies that are driving up that cost on the good guys?
I don't have any statistics, just based on experience. I would say,
yeah, that's fine.
You definitely have your top 10, 15, maybe even 20% of carriers that are still in the traditional marketplace. And okay, they get a good dividend and they get reasonable rates. You have probably another 40% that are your average section, and then the balance are really the subpar. They don't have a handle on safety. They're not maintaining equipment, which leads to additional claims. They don't have good risk management practices in place, and they're literally dragging down the balance of people in the traditional marketplace because the other companies are actually subsidizing their premiums.
Okay, and now captives aren't for everybody, so
they are not.
What would be considered a good candidate? Somebody's watching this video and who could sit back and go, you know what, this is something I really should consider, versus somebody that says, you know what, maybe we just stay in the traditional market.
Sure. Well, at minimum, typically you're looking at having a work comp spend. Work comp is typically a requirement of a captive. That's changing a little bit, but usually that work comp spend is the highest in the property and casualty premiums. So typically starting with a work comp spend of at least $250,000 a year.
When you say spend, you mean premium?
Premium, that's correct. So $250,000, $300,000, $350,000 or more, you become a really good candidate for a captive program. You can also look at adding other lines to that. So general liability is a good thing to throw in there if that experience is good. So good candidate would be somebody that already has a good handle on their safety and risk management program. A captive is not a place to go to get cleaned up. You should already have that in place. You should be financially sound and actually have an appetite for risk or an interest in controlling your future. We're in the middle of a hard market swing. And those that have been in business for an extended period of time have been through these before. Right now, it's not uncommon to see your auto rates on renewal going up 10, 15%, your liability rates going up 15, 20%. Your umbrella, depending on the size of your umbrella, could double or triple right now. That's what happens in a hard market cycle. And you know, the upside of being in a captive is you're pretty much leveling that out. You're really not subject to the swings of the marketplace. And if you're, you know, doing what your job of controlling your own risk, you will actually drive your rates down during a hard market.
So when you say control your own risk, should they have a safety manager in place or use us as that safety component?
Actually, the ideal is for a carrier to own, or for a company to own their own safety.
Okay.
Now, we can support that with several different people and methods. But if you own the safety yourself, that's the strongest. That's been proven to be the strongest. Some companies want to rely on outsourcing that safety, and that can be very effective as well. But you actually want to have that safety culture be yours. You want to retain that so that it permeates through the company, and it's not, oh, well, when the safety guy comes back next week, we'll put our safety hats back on.
Yeah.
No, this needs to be from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and every day and the weekends.
What could somebody do, maybe 2 or 3 things that they're on that cusp of being a good candidate for a captive, but they're not quite there. They got the spend, so they have the premium to justify it, but man, that mod is a little rough around the edges. They may not have a safety department built or a safety manager in place. What would you tell somebody in that position that would want to get into a captive, but they're just not quite ready yet?
Actually, they should talk to us. I think that would be the smart thing. Let us take a look at what's going on with your work comp, with your experience mod. Experience mods are manageable, and we can implement some processes and programs that will actually help drive that down. Ironically, when you get into a captive, the experience mod, frankly, it no longer matters because we don't use it in the calculation. Quick example, I looked at this before I came down. I have a client that their current rate in the standard market is $5.80. It's for drywall. They're currently paying $3.74. That's per 100 of payroll. That is a 35% reduction. That's fantastic. What's their experience mod? Frankly, I don't know, and it doesn't matter because it's actuarially developed to establish the premium so that we have enough to pay their losses, and any of that unused premium is then theirs to retain along with the investment income.
That's one of the things I wanted to end with. This is not just an insurance program, but it's a profit center.
Absolutely. So again, taking that example, what we're trying to do is get to a point where we're estimating the premiums necessary to pay for your expected claims during that period. In the standard market, they don't do that. You're paying, you might be paying $350,000, $400,000 a year, and you have losses of $35,000. Yes, they give you a dividend back, but why do the insurance companies have such nice buildings? Right? Because it's very profitable for them. So the objective in a captive is for you to actually participate in that underwriting profit as well as the investment income on that money. And over time, where we can actually dial in on what your expected losses are, you'll see your premiums coming down. That means that money stays in your cash flow during the year instead of waiting 18 months to get a dividend back. It's a much better environment.
Absolutely it is, and I think it's something that so many construction companies that are even close to qualifying really should start considering, because even if they are not quite there yet, man, we can really position them to be able to have that capability in a fairly short amount of time.
Yeah, no question, and especially now, given the hard market cycle that we're in, captives are far more attractive than the standard market, no question.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it. We met with Paul Kraemer about captives. If you give us a call, no matter who you talk to here at the Starr Group, we come to Paul, and Paul kind of helps us build together the right captive program for you and your company. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.